Roscoe lays the hammer. Coy headed to Spikeville.
You know what time it is. Scotty Nation, stand up and represent the Navy and Gold as it's time to let everyone know this is Highland Community College.
Cha-ching! Ring it up on the near side. It's Leslie Polanco going to Bouncetown.
From the players who work hard and never quit.
Striking like a viper, it's Zelia Kleitz up front like a snake. Just that quick bite right there at the top of the net and viciously throws it down.
The coaches who strategize and game plan.
From the soles of your feet, with every ounce of blood you've got in your body, lay it on the line until the final whistle blows.
And the fans who cheer.
Nice dig by Polanco, flops to the floor, blocked by Kohala. Wagner gets in on the fact, and finger wagging to Kimbe Mutombo, swat at the net.
This is Highland Scotty Volleyball.
Welcome in tonight here on the Scotty Sports Network. Mike Smith alongside with you here as we've hit the road tonight, and we are in Kansas City. KCK hosting Highland this evening in Jayhawk Conference play, as it's going to be a showdown between the two. Looking for conference win number 2 is the Scotties on the season, as they, of course, took care of business against Independence at home in 3 straight sets in their first conference win, but most recently in action in tournament play. At the McCook tournament, the Scotties went 3-1 in tournament action. Matter of fact, they've played in 3 tournaments thus far this season, 2 of which they went 3-1. The other, they went 4-0 to start the season in a great fashion here, as they played extremely well this year. The Scotties are 11-3, 1-0 in conference play, led by head coach John Bingesser in his 3rd season, who's won 54 matches and only 30 losses, but with a great performance so far. The Scotties looking to pick up the road victory tonight against a team in Kansas City, Kansas Community College that has actually only played 6 matches. So Highland's actually more than doubled the amount of matches played than their opponent here tonight. You speak of the Kansas City, Kansas Community College, and you look at how they've performed this season, just 500, 3-3 on the year. However, they were in the top 20 poll not too long ago at 18th in the country in Division II at the junior college level in volleyball. 4 of the 6 matches decided in just 3 sets. Lost 2 of the last 3 has the Blue Devils, and they have played a couple of 5-set contests, which they split to open up this season. They played Johnson County Community College recently and lost in 3 sets there, but beat Labette in straight sets and a 3-set variety to pick up their conference wins. They're 1-1 in conference, 3-3 overall. Highland 11-3 in the season, 1-0 in Jayhawk Conference play. But this series has been dominated by the Blue Devils, and Highland wants to remedy that, as the Scotties lost last year to KCK in 4 sets. Highland took set 1, but it was KCK rattling off 3 consecutive sets after that to win the match in 4. The last Highland win against the Blue Devils was a 2015 3-set victory, as they were victorious in that showdown. But KCK has actually won 8 of the last 9, dating back to 2010 between these 2 teams. So Highland hasn't fared well against the Blue Devils, but looking to fare well tonight for their 12th win and to go 2-0 in conference play as well. Scotties rank towards the top in the Jayhawk Conference in several categories. Matter of fact, ranked 3rd in kills, 3rd in assists, 5th in digs and blocks in the Jayhawk Conference this season. And were picked 7th preseason-wise to finish in the Jayhawk Conference here this year. Receiving votes in the latest top 20 poll is Highland, just on the precipice of maybe breaking into that latest top 20 poll. Football team also receiving votes in the action too. So the latest polls released earlier this week by the NJCAA. Highland will be in the gold jerseys tonight with the dark blue numerals and letters. Dark blue shorts as well. The libero will darn the dark blue jersey with the white numerals and letters. As KCK will be in the black shorts and red jerseys with white numerals and letters. We'll pause for the national anthem, and we'll be back for the action in a moment.
Round we will hail as the College Athletic Association Region 6, Kansas Community College promote good sportsmanship, athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and coaches.
Highland will take on KCK tonight. Both teams with one conference victory, but for KCK, just 1-1 in conference, 3-3 on the season, 11-3 for the Scotties. Here on the Scotty Sports Network for tonight's road contest for Highland and KCK. Announcing the teams here so far. We'll get into the matchup. As I mentioned, KCK won last year in 4 sets. Highland's last victory not too long ago against the Blue Devils was 2015. They took care of business in 3 consecutive sets in that one, but KCK has won 8 of the last 9 between the two teams. Highland looking to remedy that and take 2 of the last 3 if they are able to accomplish the victory here tonight. Ranked towards the top of the Jayhawk Conference is Highland in several different categories. Like I said, 3rd most in kills, 3rd most assists in the Jayhawk Conference this season, 5th most digs, and 5th most total blocks on the season too, as they've played extremely well. 2-1 on true road games this season. That includes a couple games in the tournament and 1 road game as well against then 7th-ranked D1 Indian Hills, which was a tough 5-setter that Highland almost was victorious in, taking the first couple sets but losing the last 3 to fall in that showdown. And as most recently went 3-1 to the McCook tournament. Lost the opening matchup against North Platte in 4 sets, but bounced back with a 4-set win against the host McCook. Battled back against Cloud County to win it in 5 sets, a thrilling matchup at that, and dispatched Butler in 3 sets at the McCook tournament. Highland did as well in the showdown at the McCook tournament. Starters being announced for KCK, and Highland's rosters announced already as well. Highland again will be in the gold unis tonight here on the road with the dark blue shorts and, of course, the dark blue jersey for the libero for Highland Community College. Flip side, it's for the Blue Devils of KCK, red tops with white numerals and letters, except the libero, who dons the royal blue with white trim, white numerals, and red lettering on the jerseys. Highland will go right to left across your screen in this first set. Left to right for KCK in the first set as well. Scotty's riding a pretty good wave of momentum. Of course, last year had great success under head coach John Bingesser in his 3rd season now, but last year was first 20-plus win season since 2011 for Highland. And they were ranked for the first time since 2011 last year, like I said, on the cusp of breaking into the top 20. A big victory tonight would go a long way to breaking into the polls next week for Highland. But they're not worried about getting into the polls. They're just worried about getting the conference W. As Highland ready to get this one in motion. Glad to be on the road with the gals here tonight. We'll be on the road, too, on Saturday. Quick plug for the football matchup, as Highland Community College football after the bye week will be in action and be ready to roll against Iowa Central. We'll have that game on the Scotty Sports Network with kickoff around noon. Sydney Prine getting a start tonight up front for Highland. Katie Pearson, Zelia Kleitz up front as well. Libero Kristen Johnson will check in on the back row, joined by Leslie Polanco and Coy Orozco. That's your 6 Lady Scotties ready to roll here in this first matchup. Libero also checking in early on here for KCK on the back row. Keely Sleef, excuse me. Orozco set to serve this one up. Coy's got 2 aces. That'd be a great start to the contest. Coy's played in all 14 matches thus far this season, 65 kills as well. Picked up on the back row by KCK. They go to the far side, the spike, and that's out of bounds on the near sideline. Nice one down the power alley that time from Katie Heater, but Heater a little bit too much mustard on the spike, and Highland avoids it. Good communication by the Scotties early on, knowing the proper angles and whether it would land inbounds. Down the power alley there, it's deflected off Prine. Sydney tries to block that, but can't get it. Morgan Schwartz getting the point and tally for KCK. 1-1 contest early on. Serve, flips it over, left to right across your screen for KCK. Heater, that serves it down the middle. Good dig out by Johnson. Set up down the middle. Kleitz with a spike, goes off the fingertips up front of the would-be blockers. Navarez was in the vicinity, but KCK's answer again long and out of bounds. Nice job by Highland once more as the Scotties taking advantage of answers that sail out of play by the Blue Devils. Sydney Prime with the serve, just trickles it over the top of the net. They'll set it up near the near side, swatted back there by Polanco. Blue Devils on top of it. They'll have the back row attacked by Heater. Johnson with a dig on the back row, set for Kleitz. Kleitz spikes it down quickly up at the top of the net, and Zelia kind of stuffs it right there on the Blue Devils' face. Nice job by Kleitz to go after it. Didn't really actually need to block it because it never made it over for KCK. It would have been a fourth hit on them, but they did not hit it. And it falls home on the Blue Devils side for a Highland tally. And an early 3-1 lead, but a let serve by Sydney Prine. The Holton product getting a start tonight. After her great performance, Coach John Bingesser telling me before tonight's ball game that Sydney played extremely well, especially in the latter two games at the McCook tournament. And Sydney earning the start this evening. Highland up. Still says 3-1, but it should be 3-2 on the scoreboard. Quickly tapped over there by Kleitz and discombobulated as, KCK was in search and in pursuit of it, but kind of had a little bit of a situation where they were frantically moving around and unable to accomplish the feat of continuing the volley. Here's Kleitz with the serve. Zelia sends it over to the far sideline. The Osawatomie product has had an exceptional season. Third in the conference in digs. That's saved up there for a moment. There's a quick whistle. And point KCK, their head coach coming over, Mary Bruno, saying that it had went for either 4 hits or underneath the net. Highland didn't get it over the volley, that is, to continue in the allotted 3 hits. Scotties lead it, though, on the road, 4-3, just young into set number 1 here on the night. Best of 5 as well. Let's serve that time off the outstretched hands of sophomore Aaron Riley. And mistakes can definitely put you behind the 8 ball in any situation in volleyball. I mean, you have the opportunity to take advantage of situations and compile the mistakes on with other points. You should do so, especially on the road. Pearson picked that up. Here to go to the near side. Attacking that is Polanco. Just lobs it over to the far sideline. A back set to the near side that was partially blocked. Good dig out by Pearson, and she went to the floor. And Orozco sends it off the fingertips of Brittany Winter. And another gal, too, for the Blue Devils trying to block it, but unsuccessfully accomplishing that feat. Pearson set to put this in motion. Pearson, the setter, was recently a Jayhawk Conference Athlete of the Week for volleyball, the Division II side of things for volleyball. Polanco set up that time, packs some pepper there. It caroms up into the rafters and thus called out of bounds. Hits the lights, and Highland will get the point because the answer from KCK was the one that went up into the lights. Pearson with a great season so far. 460 assists. That's 9.2 per set. Tapped up into the back corner. Highland avoids it and watches it rainbow out. Tried to get that corner pocket, but KCK unsuccessful at accomplishing that. 8-3 lead for Highland early on. They've pushed out the cushion up to 5. And Highland with this lead sees KCK call the timeout to try to corral the troops on their home floor. As I mentioned, KCK only logging 6 games to this point at this season. And, of course, Highland doubling them up in the games played. So the experience level is there for Highland a little bit more. The team chemistry maybe. I'm not going to say that, they don't have the team chemistry there for the Blue Devils. But, having played 14 games and, nearly double what KCK has played, it only can pay dividends for Highland. I mean, the Scotties will have that rotation situations figured out a little bit more frequently, you would think, with Coach John Bingesser at the helm and getting different gals into the right spots with regularity and playing tendencies too. I mean, just having the fact that they have those playing tendencies together and kind of down with each other, having logged the 14 games together, going to help Highland here tonight against a team that less games logged this season in the Blue Devils. Highland continues to go right to left across your screen with Pearson at the helm of the serve. Prine, Johnson, Polanco on the floor with Kohala up front, and Orozco rounding out the 6 for the Scotties. Pearson's serve goes over to the near side, bumped up quickly. They'll go far side set and spike to the floor. Nice play by the freshman Brittany Winter as Winter strikes out of the timeout for the Blue Devils. They've played 2 5-set contests this year, has KCK. Highland has played 3 5-set contests and won 2 of the 3. And they're looking for maybe a 3-set victory and a sweep on the road. Highland's 5-0 when playing just 3 sets. Polanco punches the power alley while the libero awaited it for KCK. Back set that time by Pearson. Orozco strikes, but KCK out of the timeout played. Hey, I got that, but Coach John Bingesser was in agreement. Kind of had a little smirk on his face, and how that play did not go the way of the Scotties. Set up that time. Kohala taps it over the block. Back on Scotty's side pretty quick, though, from the Blue Devils. Kohala's blocked up front, and the block is a stuff. KCK finding some bit of a groove right now out of the timeout. They've rattled off 3 consecutive, and it's an 8-6 contest here in set 1. Scotties want to stymie this miniature run, and, well, Blue Devils will do it to themselves. Winter serves it out of play on the near sideline, and Highland up 9-6. Polanco will serve it, gets a running start, does Leslie on the serve. Also kind of tosses it high, but there's a short toss that time. Straight down the chute on the serve. Cross-court set there that time in the corner, but it's out of bounds. And Highland again knows when to pursue the situations, and watching things from KCK sail out of play. Here's Polanco's jump serve down the middle, picked up by the libero. Sleef, Johnson. Here's Pearson's back set. Orozco on the far side. Off the fingertips up front, up at the net. Joust won by KCK for the moment. Highland pushes it back off the set attack by Pearson. Over to the far side. Heater with the spike. There's Polanco, actually going to go up into the ceiling, so then ruled out of bounds. Now it did go backwards after Polanco's bump, and I don't know if anybody would have been able to get and track it down for Highland, even if it, though, did go into the rafters and bounce off the lights. 10-7, Highland up by 3. They were up by 5, though, a little bit ago at 8-3. Here's Orozco off the back set. Quick finesse play there that time. The spikes are being picked up by KCK, but not that play. You know, a little finesse style by Orozco to send it over the top of the block. A little high arcing shot that falls in. Puts it in the bucket for the tally, and an 11-7 lead for Highland. Line judge conversing for the moment over at the scores table. I'm not sure about what, but Highland with the serve. Kohala from the near side of the end line. Goes cross court on the serve. Back set that time. Set up by KCK, but Kohala is there to pick it up. Back row attack. Polanco sees it right back in her face. Quickly just shoved over that time by Navarez. And then Highland says, we'll answer you quickly back, and put it in that back corner on the rainbow shot, as the Scotties now up 12-7. Highland's largest lead was 5, and it's back to 5. Kohala with the serve. Emma actually tied for 7th in the league in the block capacity. Great diving save by Pearson, I think it was, up front. There's Kohala digging it out, and a violation up front. Highland whistled for the violation at the net. So that spoils Highland. Both teams have had their, few mistakes so far. Kind of about even in that capacity on, some service errors. Also some errors at the net in general, too. But Blue Devils left to right across your screen. Set to put this in motion with Kelsey Rankin out of Omaha, Nebraska. Rankin will serve it up. Winter on the back row. Sleef as well on there for KCK. Prine, nice job to spike it and pinball it around through the block. To no avail that time. Morgan Schwartz and also Navarez up then for KCK to try to swat that Prine spike, but Sydney skies high and knocks it around and down to the floor. Set up over to the far side. That just grazes the fingertips of Pearson. Karams off her hand and out towards the Highland bench. So teams trading points back and forth right now, but a 4-tally lead for Highland on the road, 13-9. Scotties established the early lead and utilizing that at this juncture to hold on to the advantage. Up by 5 is the largest margin for the Scotties here in set 1. Kleitz's spike is blocked off Johnson's outstretched arms and shoulder, really, off the block from KCK up front. Blue Devils have dwindled the lead down ever so much, but Highland been able to hold them at bay this juncture. Let's serve, and that'll spoil things. Katie Heater sending it into the net, and that's 2 or 3 of those for KCK as far as the service errors. Sydney Prine with the serve, back set here to the near side, down the power alley, and that one is smashed home by Schwartz, the sophomore for the Blue Devils. 14-11, Highland holding on to the lead by 3 here in set 1 of the Jayhawk Conference Showdown tonight. The libero, Sleef setting it up. Now here's Pearson set to the near side. Polanco skies high, and a new tattoo on the forehead of the libero, Sleef. She wears that one in the face from Polanco's vicious spike. 15-11. Nice job by Leslie. Leslie has got some bounce to her step. I always say that she's got some spring-loaded shoes, as high as she can jump and leap up at the top of the net. Tried for the block, but Kohala sees it go off her hands. Polanco has a quick answer. They'll set it up to the near side. That's swatted. Emma swallows it up. KCK doesn't keep it alive. They go with the back row attack. Here's Pearson, short set for Kohala. Emma throws it to the back row. Nice job by Kohala. Found that only 2 gals loomed in the back row for KCK, and they didn't get to it in time. Converged upon each other. Now one did get her fingertips on it, but shot it backwards and out of play. Line drive missile serve from Kleitz. Here to the near side. Blocked again. Polanco. What a dig, though, by the Blue Devils there to keep this alive. Kleitz, Pearson set to the near side. Polanco down the power alley. Back over on Highland side. Kohala in pursuit. Hit the top of the net. And Orozco just rainbows it over. Maybe didn't get the full force of the shot she wanted from Coy. Reeled back, but I think it actually went right underneath her palm and off her hand. Now, it did make it back to the Blue Devils side, but out of play as well on the near sideline. 16-12, Highland on top by 4. Never led by more than 5. They've led by 5 at about 3 different junctures of this first set, including just moments ago. But serve coming at the hands here of the sophomore Aaron Riley. Left to right across your screen for KCK. We're here in Kansas City tonight for the Jayhawk Conference Showdown. Polanco just punches it over. A little high arcing shot from the outside hitter position there. And that goes off of Kohala and Pearson. Katie didn't see where it bounced. It just kind of actually bounced off their hands, shot straight up into the sky over the top of their head, and then went out of bounds towards the scorer's table. And now a 16-13 Highland lead, but KCK with a couple of points back-to-back. They've been able to string, maybe 2-3 together. As Pearson bumps it near the near side, quickly tapped over by Polanco. They're going to go down the middle on that attack. Great pickup by Prine on the back row. Pearson set to the near side. Polanco! There's Leslie's punch that time. 17 for Leslie, the gal that leads the Jayhawk Conference in total kills. 178 this season. Leslie averages 3.6 kills per set, which is good for second best in the Jayhawk Conference in that capacity. And just outside the inline on that serve. So the service error gives it to the Blue Devils. They were disciplined enough, knowing that the trajectory would carry it out of play, and that it did by just mere inches. Winters serves it to the near side. Prine bumps it quickly back on just one hit. They'll set up the attack on the far side. KCK does. Johnson with a great play. Goes up into the rafters. Pearson's in pursuit. They still say it was a playable ball, so the volley continues. And KCK, short back set to the near side. Down the power alley. Johnson, but out of bounds. And Highland again will try to take advantage and string tallies consecutively after a Blue Devil errant shot. Polanco serves this up. Leslie on this season leads the team in aces with 9 entering tonight's affair. Pearson short set for Kohala. Nice job by Emma as she knocks it to the near side. Riley in pursuit, got a piece of it, bumped it out of play. And we got another timeout by KCK. 19-14 lead. Highland on top here in this matchup. KCK calling the timeout and trying to corral the troops again. Now, KCK has been able to dwindle the lead several different times throughout the course of this first set. But Highland, once they established a 8-3 lead early on, really have been able to hold control of this first set. Mike Smith, of course, alongside with you here from Kansas City, Kansas Community College. Jayhawk Conference Showdown for Highland in volleyball tonight, looking to improve to 2-0 in conference play. KCK won this matchup last year in 4 sets, and Highland's last win against the Blue Devils was 2015. Highland is averaging about 12 kills per set, 629 entering here tonight, which ranks 3rd in the Jayhawk Conference in total kills here this season. Highland, right to left across your screen, gold unis tonight with the Navy numerals and letters outside of the libero Johnson, who dons the Navy jersey with the gold numerals and letters. Polanco will continue to serve. And Leslie, as I said, has been an integral part to the success of Highland last year in their first 20-plus win season in quite some time, since 2011. And this year, Leslie leading the team in several categories, along with the Jayhawk Conference in several categories, ranking in the top 10. Not only is she first in total kills, second in kills per set, ranked 6th in digs in the Jayhawk Conference, does Polanco, and leads the team in aces with 9. A little bit of a do-everything type of gal. 9 double-doubles on this season. Registered career highs in digs and also kills earlier this year. Nice shot there, and there's an ace, the 10th of the season. Polanco straight down the chute. No answer that time by KCK. Out of the timeout for the Blue Devils. Highland strikes quickly. 6-point lead, largest lead of the set. Also now established by the Scotties as they'll try to finish it off with only 5 more points needed to take set 1. Back set by Pearson. Here's Orozco. It's blocked, and here's Highland's answer. They'll bump it over the back of her head in the near side from Prine. Here to the near side, it's just a little quick punch. What a save and a dive by Johnson. Coach John Bingesser bumps it up on the 3rd hit. Of course, not an eligible player on the court is coach, but KCK holding off Highland for the moment from another run. Scotty's up by 5, 20-15. Here comes a little jump serve from Johnson of KCK. Pearson bumps it. Back row attack by Polanco. And, that one bumped right back towards the net. Now, KCK did a good job, really, just to get the line of sight to back in order to keep the volley and push it back over to Highland's side. They'll attack it again down the middle. Kohala goes for the block, but Emma sees it carry him off her hands and out of play. Back-to-back points for the Blue Devils there. Emma did a good job with the block, but maybe just not the proper push back towards KCK in that scenario, because it shot off towards the right-hand side and out of play on the far sideline. Polanco will bump it. Out of bounds, Orozco sends it over on the 3rd hit. Here's a back set to the near side as Navarez has the spike. Pearson sets up Orozco. Coy strikes it right down the heart of the defense. KCK with an answer again. They try to rainbow it in the back corner. Swooping in is Polanco. Here's Kohala's answer. What a save on the far sideline. Outstretched hand, pancake save by KCK. Here's Orozco. Cha-ching. Coy. Nice job there to reel back and send the missile to the floor. Finally just packing, a little bit extra velocity on that situation. And Coy Orozco says, we're not playing around anymore, and we'll get that for the tally on the board to make it at 21-16. That goes long, sails a mile out into the concourse here at KCK. Navarez, who's been set up down the middle and on the outside hitter position multiple times for the Blue Devils with that long spike and out of play. Kohala with a great serve that did just trickle over the top of the net. That's saved by Prine for the moment. Kleitz dug it out of the net, but no answer after that. Orozco kind of caught off guard that it would come her way, and Coy not prepared for that 3rd hit in that situation. So Highland on the precipice really of, putting a run together to try to finish off this set, but ultimately, Blue Devils still hanging tough. Highland, though, has established that, 5-point cushion here. Great spike by Kleitz, skying high up there, and Zelia gets that to go. Coy Orozco back to serve. Polanco, Johnson, Prine on the floor with Kleitz up front as well, and Pearson. And Kleitz in pursuit after it there. There's 4 hits. And that was the 4th hit off the libero. Was KCK no answer that time. And now we're on the way to a set victory, perhaps, for the Scotties. Orozco with the serve. Going to set it up. Actually, to go to the near side. I thought it was going to go down the middle, but Polanco answers it on the back row. Quick set there from Pearson to Kleitz. Gets it blocked, pushes it over. Winter dives to the floor to pick that up for KCK. What a set attack. sometimes those set attacks can catch teams off guard. That's exactly what happened to Highland that time. And KCK saves off the set point for the moment. But Highland still has set point up 24-18. Looking to finish this one off in this set. Johnson on the back row will bump it. Pearson set down the middle. Kleitz with it, spiked. And, well, did they touch it? They did. As KCK flicks it off their fingertips, and Highland will take the first set 25-18. Scotty's established a 5-point cushion early on and utilized that throughout the first set to ultimately grab set one 25-18 as they take down the Blue Devils in the first set. Set two coming up in just a little bit as the action will continue here on the Scotty Sports Network as Highland Community College on the road in this Jayhawk Conference showdown as we'll continue the matchup between the two, between the Scotties and the Blue Devils as Highland takes set one 25-18. Ready for set two. Highland takes set one on the road against KCK. Looking for Jayhawk Conference win number 2 for the Scotties, win number 12 on the season. Highland in that first set. Good spread out offense. I mean, the kills were led by Zelia Kleitz with 4, but 3 kills for Koya Roscoe and Leslie Polanco. So the sophomores helping spearhead the offense. Emil Kohala with 2 kills. Sydney Prine had a kill in the first matchup as well, the first set, as Katie Pearson finishes with 12 set assists in that first one. Dig-wise, there was several gals, but it was Kirsten Johnson and Leslie Polanco with 7 digs apiece. Katie Pearson had 3 digs, too, to help kind of lead the way. Kleitz and Prine chipped in a pair of digs in the Scotty set 1 victory as they took it over KCK 25-18. So they switch sides of the court. Highland will go left to right across here on the screen on the Scotty Sports Network. Mike Smith alongside with you here for this Jayhawk Conference showdown on the road. Johnson, Polanco, Orozco, Prine, Pearson, and Kleitz. That's the 6 for the Scotties to start off this second set. KCK will start off with the serve. Kelsey Rankin, freshman, will be serving that up. That went up to the rafters, but Polanco gets it. A nice little punch off the palm. Gets it back off the back row attack from Leslie. And Leslie just parts the Red Sea, gets out of the way, and sees it sail out of play. And Highland takes the first point here in set 2. Sydney Prine moves back to take the serve. Ooh, nice serve there. Just went right over the top of the net. Little on a rope serve. Double stuff that time. Double your pleasure up front of the net. Pearson and Kleitz say no thank you to the shot, and it's a 2-0 start for Highland. Here's Prine's serve, another line drive serve by Sydney. They go down the power alley, and KCK, well, they get an answer that time. Great play up front. Looks like Morgan Schwartz on the opportunity. So 2-1, Highland on top here in set number 2 on the road. Scotty's won set 1, 25-18. That serve coming from the outstretched hands of KCK on the hands of Katie Heater. Polanco saves it for the moment, but it goes and hits the antenna. Kirum's out of play towards the scorer's table. 2-2 tie it is. Heater will serve it again from right to left across your screen. And out of bounds, there's the service error out on the near sideline. Highland showing great discipline so far tonight. Basically, all in communication. I mean, about all 6 girls yelled out in that scenario there. Great communication in the level of, pursuit when needed in those situations. Kind of lobbed off the palm there from Heater on the back row. Polanco skies high. It's blocked but out of play as Polanco smashes it into the outstretched hands of KCK up front. And Highland just saw it tied at 2-2. Now they're up by 2, 4-2 here in set 2. Set to the near side for Winter, who spikes it and did it tightrope block the near sideline. Apparently it did. It's quickly down to the floor that time from Brittany Winter of the Blue Devils. Johnson back in towards the back, set up for the Scotties. But it's a setup here for the serve down the middle off Johnson's hands. Pearson's set goes sky high for Polanco. Cha-ching again. There it is by Polanco. Welcome to Boomtown, Leslie, as she was able to sky high and send it down with authority. A 5-point tally on the board for the Scotties. 2-point lead, 5-3. Pearson serves it. And nice serve there that dips quickly to the floor. Winter with the back row attack. Prine bumps that up. Here's Pearson's short set for Kohala. Tried to rainbow it. Maybe get a flick of the fingertips, but Highland wanting the touch, but not going to get the call. The Scotties, the gals on the bench all showing the fingertips where indicating the touch, but line judges saying otherwise, and Kohala's answer then went out of play. So a 1-point contest here in set 2. Highland up by 1, 5-4. Here's Pearson's set. Going to set it up for Orozco, and Orozco down the chute right there. Into Spikeville, Coy Orozco, as Highland is finding the right avenues down that power alley. Able to strike home and strike with a little pace at that too. Polanco's jump serve on the back row picked up. There's a back set, and that sails over everybody's head. The Scotties just duck out of the way. Polanco set to serve it again. Leslie had an ace in set 1, I believe. And ultimately, we'll see if she can dial up perhaps another one. And had one ace in that first set, did Highland. As Orozco's blocked, but again, out of bounds. And Highland had a few blocks of their own in the first set that they tried to block KCK that carried off their hands out of bounds. They're getting the beneficiary of the situations now here in set 2. And that one lobbed too far. Leslie Polanco put a little bit too much mustard on that one and out of play. 8-5 lead. Highland up by 3. Highland led by no more than 5 for most of the first set. Now did establish a wider margin later as the set progressed and ended up winning 25-18. Blocked and pushed back into Highland's side. Actually, the top of the net blocked really the third hit and forced Highland to a 4-hit situation. So back-to-back tallies for the Blue Devils as Winter now with the jump serve down the middle. Oh, Johnson and Polanco in pursuit, and they both get out of the way just in the nick of time. They were almost on top of each other and did not collide, and ultimately did not collide with the ball. Highland was able to avoid that serve, and thus a service error on the Blue Devils. Nice job by Kohala. Again, these serves by Highland has been able to go on a line drive style. There's another one out of play. Highland's the first to double digits here in set 2. KCK helping the Scotties' cause because they continue to add mistakes on top of the top-notch offensive plays from Highland here tonight. Set up in the near side, partially blocked by Kleitz. Nobody home after, right beside her, where it caroms off her hands to the left side of Zelia. Just kind of took an awkward spin off Kleitz's block. 7-10. Highland on top by 3. Good balance all around in several different capacities in set 1. Orozco's spike goes into the net, and there's another error by Highland, which have not happened at very high frequency, which is a good thing. But they have happened a little bit. Hitting percentage for the team, 174 for the Scotties on the season. do have nearly 300 attack errors, but again, nearly 630 kills on the season. Back row attack time. Bazinga. The shot's good by Polanco. Leslie Polanco continues to just compile the statistics, help her team out, as well as stash that lead a little bit higher for Highland. 11-8. Scotty's up. Go to the near side, Heater. And again, they get it off of the fingertips of Kleitz and Pearson going for the block. Both teams taking advantage of the blocks, or the would-be blocks, kind of finding the right angles for the offensive side on each side to take advantage of those, especially here in this second set, happening at a high frequency on both ways. Serve from Kelsey Rankin. Winter on the back row. Sleef as well on that back for KCK. Here's Sydney Prine with a spike down the power alley. Prine had a kill in that first set. Johnson can't dive and get to it. Johnson did her best Superman impression, trying to fly towards it in the back row, but comes up a bit empty. And KCK to double digits, also drawing within one in the same sense. Pearson, Kleitz, Prine, Polanco, Johnson, and Orozco, the 6 here on the floor. Zelia attacks it down the middle, but it's picked up by the Blue Devils on the back row by Winter. Good dig by Polanco on the back row. Set attack by Pearson, but the libero sweeps in there. Sleef is able to keep it alive. Pearson's set goes over to the far side for Prine, partially blocked, and Kleitz goes after it at the top of the net, but comes up empty. And that block fell towards Highland's side. Zelia needed to get a full hand on that, but fingertips more or less than anything else. And a little paintbrush hit, not enough. And we have a tie contest here in set 2 at 11 apiece. Highland's led by, I think, as many as 5 here in this set, or up by 4 at least. We're up at 12-8 just a little bit ago. Or no, that was in the first set, excuse me. That's now a 12-11 score. I think they were up by 4 a moment ago. Sydney Prine will serve with Highland back in the driver's seat. Scotties have not trailed, but they see the service error. Prine sails it out of play. And now a 12-12 tie here in set 2. Scotties, if my memory serves me right, actually haven't trailed all night. I don't think they trailed in first set as well. Pearson up at the net, just punches it over pretty quick. No real play to set up one of her teammates on the set, so knew that that was what she needed. Pearson with the bump. Here's Orozco off the palm. Come down towards the far side hitter position now here too. Prine looked like she was able to get out of the way, but they say apparently was touched by the Scotties. And, well, KCK hanging tough, leading to a lead for the first time here tonight for KCK at 13-12. Coach John Bingesser wants his first time out of the evening, as the home team, KCK, has fought back into this one and taken the lead against the Scotties as they're up by 1, 13-12 here in set number 2. Highland, of course, 11-3 now on the season, 1-0 in Jayhawk Conference play. Flip it over to the Blue Devils side, just 3-3 this season, 1-1 in conference play. Lost to Johnson County in 3 sets, but beat Labette in 3 sets. Highland's conference win against Independence. You can watch that one back on the Scotty Sports Network on YouTube. You can find the link at ScottyAthletics.com. Coming up on Saturday, we'll make the road trip to Fort Dodge, Iowa. Iowa Central, the opponent for the Scotties football team. Coming out of the bye week, Highland looking for a victory. Both the volleyball and football teams receiving votes in the latest NJCAA polls, top 20 ranked. But Highland and football and volleyball just on the outside looking in. Both have an opportunity to break in the weeks to come. Highland football was ranked actually the previous week, 20th, but fell out of the polls despite being idle this past week. Highland not idle tonight for volleyball, looking good in the first set, taking it 25-18. Now they face their first deficit of the night, trailing 13-12 coming out of the timeout. We'll see what the Scotties can do. Pearson with a set for Kleitz, who spikes it all the way back to the back row. It's picked up that time by Heater. Quick answer by the Scotties again. They go to the far side to the Blue Devils, and that's off Pearson's fingertips. Excuse me, Kleitz's fingertips up front. Zelia gets a piece of it, but out of play. And, well, KCK up by 2, their largest lead of the night. Katie Heater from Lenexa, Kansas, will serve right to left across your screen. Heater lobs it to the back row. Johnson sends it up towards the rafters. Pearson set goes cross court. Polanco, and Highland needed that. Now went off the fingertips up front. Tried for a block, Morgan Schwartz, but sees it carry him off her hands and then trickle out of play. Zelia Kleitz now back to serve. Zelia sending it right on along that near sideline. A backside over to the far side, and that is swatted into the net. A bad spike by KCK allows Highland to get 2 consecutive, and we're back to a tie contest. Third time it's been tied here in set 2. We're at 14 apiece. Kleitz's serve. Libero awaiting it and picks it up. Here's Winter's spike, and it's going to be blocked and out of play. The answer there from KCK trickled around the net but went on the wrong side of the antenna. Great double block at the point of attack. And Highland now, after going down by 2 out of the timeout, have rattled off 3 consecutive to be up by 1, 15-14. Little short back set. Kleitz on the back row waiting it. Pearson to Kohala. Kohala got it through the defense of KCK for the moment, but they dig it out of the net too to keep the volley alive. Here's Polanco punching it home. But again, down that power alley, KCK has an answer to what Highland's thrown at them. They don't have an answer, though, to get it over the volley to continue over the net, as that's the 4th hit. Highland finding a bit of a roll here. Scotty's on a 4-0 run after going down by as many as 2 at 14-12. Highland trailed at that juncture right out of the timeout. KCK got that tally out of Highland's timeout, mind you. Now we've got a Blue Devil timeout as Highland has managed to put together a 4-0 run, and the Scotties leading 16-14 here midway through set 2. Scotties, of course, taking set 1, 25-18, and looking to continue to be on the prowl to take this one. Great play from a multitude of gals here tonight all around, as several gals have contributed in every way, shape, or form you can think of here this evening. Highland left to right across your screen here in set 2 continues to have the serve. Prine, Kohala, Orozco, Polanco, Pearson, and Kleitz. That is the 6 on the floor for Highland. Zelia continues to serve. Zelia on the season with 6 aces, which is tied for second best on the team in that capacity. Zelia's serve goes to the near sideline where it's dug out by Winter. Go to the far side. Kleitz picks it up on that far sideline. Polanco skies high again. Bounce to her step once more. Down the alley they come by KCK. Pearson's bump. Orozco blocked. Whoa, what a quick strike up front. Blocked by Johnson. Johnson won it right at the net. Kind of almost anticipated that shot from Orozco. And out of the Blue Devil timeout, they get the point. Highland owns the 1-point lead, 16-15. Here's Pearson's set, setting it up for Polanco on that back row again. But right in that alley again, right in the groove, both teams have been to answer a lot of the spikes down the power alley here in this second set especially. Polanco, though, is going to have a little high arcing shot towards the end line, and it floats home for Leslie and the Scotties. A little bit of an arc on that spike from Polanco. Pearson back to serve. Katie from Kansas City, Missouri, 6 double-doubles on this season. 61 assists against Longview, a tough 5-set victory. That was her season best there. Little dig at the net by Polanco, but it actually went over the top of the head of her own teammate, Kohala, who is the next closest to get the second hit, and Emma didn't know where it was, so before she could figure it out, it hit the hardwood. Back to a 1-point affair. Highland, though, holding the lead, 17-16. KCK had in a lead for a momentary time midway through this second set. Kohala's blocked. Johnson with great backup there on the back row. Good play by Johnson from Topeka, Kansas. He's played really well as the libero here this year on quite a bit of regularity. Kind of a utility type player for the Scotties is Johnson. And that time, long shot there as KCK wanted a little bit of a touch, but not going to get it. Alyssa Navarez sends it long. Navarez spikes more often than not. It seems like a trend from her. She kind of tries to go to the back and try to, get them in before the end line, but they've had just too much on them for KCK tonight, and Highland's been able to take advantage of that, being able to exploit that situation and avoid their pursuit in those. Polanco picks it up on the back row. Here's Pearson set to the near side. Orozco with a spike. Quick answer by Winter on the second hit. Backpedaling that time. Kohala off the palm. And right there in the heart of the defense, little campfire situation. A circle, and it falls right in the bucket. Just drops it home. A drop in the bucket there for Emma Kohala and Highland. Jump serve by Polanco. The missile shot goes straight down the chute. And Winter is blocked, but KCK has an answer to keep the volley alive for the moment. Oh, Johnson saw it go right into her face. Pearson digs it out of the net, but it goes underneath. And because of that, KCK will get the point. But it all started with that vicious spike down the middle that Johnson saw right on top of her pretty quick. Pretty impressive for Johnson just to get a hit on it and not take one in the face. Winter's serve, lobbed back to the back row. Here's Pearson's short set as just dumped over by Orozco. Oh, good play by Prine, backpedaling a little bit. She'll knock it over to the back. Here to the near side. Heater sets it up, and Johnson in the alley to get that. Polanco back row attack. Ooh, just out on that far sideline. Leslie Polanco trying to dot the I in that situation, and, about half a ball link away from doing so. Tight contest, been that way basically from the onset of set two. Highland did establish about a 4-tally lead early on. KCK came back, tied it up. Several different junctures we've been tied. KCK had a 2-point lead at one point, but Highland has established the lead back in their favor here as we continue to go in set two, up 19-8. And Winter just punches it into the net, and Highland now up two again, 20-18, holding KCK at bay. Here's Emma Kohala. Emma, the freshman from Liberty, Missouri, has made a big-time impact so far this season, playing in all the matches thus far this year, has over 100 kills this season, third on the team in that capacity. Pearson's back set to the near side as Coy Orozco kind of whiffs on the shot. Orozco coming up with that miss hit. Coach John Bingesser talking to Coy about how that situation unfolded. KCK back to within one again, 20-19, Highland on top. Teams trading tallies back and forth. Prine picks it up on the far sideline as Polanco punches it over. Back to the back row, they'll have to shove it up, and close play was partially blocked, so I thought that would have been counted as the first hit. Diving save to no avail, falling short, and falling right in front of the face with the outstretched hands of Jaylee Thornton. So again, we just continue to trade points on the scoreboard, and that'll be in Highland's favor as we continue to progress here in set two. Back set to nobody. Wow, no man's land there that time. Miscommunication, talk about that right there. And that comes into play how many games you've played. Just a back set by Rankin to absolutely no one. The ghost player there that time was there for KCK, which of course is no one. And Highland gets that one, and they'll take it because, well, they've been trading points back and forth here. Once Highland reestablished the lead on a 4-0 run that put them up 16-14. Basically, they've been trading jabs back and forth from that point on, and KCK holding tough with just being trailing by one. Highland will then go back up by two, back down to one. Now it's a 3-point lead on the board for the Scotties, up 22-19 here in set two. Highland undefeated in the 3 sets matches that they've played this season. Scotties 5-0 in matches decided in 3 sets, 4-2 when they play 4 sets, and 2-1 when they play a full 5-set contest thus far this season. Of course, 11-3 for Highland on the year, looking to make that a 12th win here tonight. So we got Coy Orozco serving. Polanco and Johnson on the floor. Up front, Pearson, Kleitz, and Prine. Close to the gals for the Scotties, left to right across your screen. Partially blocked, good stab out of the air by Prine, just off of her outstretched arm. Sydney with the attack. It's blocked by KCK. Here's Pearson's attack, winning at the point of attack of the net. There's a whistle, and in that joust situation with Pearson, they're going to call a net violation on the Blue Devils. Highland will take it, because that pushes their lead up to 4, and they're just 2 points away from a set 2 victory and going up 2-0 here on the road. That's spiked into the net. No answer that time. Almost a whiff shot by Johnson. Got a piece of it, but like I said, into the net. And now Highland on the precipice of set 2 victory, up 24-19. Oh, let serve, though. We'll spoil that for a moment. And KCK gets to 20 on the board. But Highland again continues to own set point situation in their favor, although the serve now on the Blue Devils side. And Rankin serves it. Lobbed by Rankin to the back row where Johnson picks it up. Kleitz, little finesse play, taps it over. Two gals converge on that hit, and actually both may have actually got a piece of it for KCK. Here's Pearson's set attack right over the back of her head. Great play, and Pearson quickly attacks again. Kleitz goes for the block, stays on KCK's side. They answer with the volley. Here's Pearson's set, setting up Kleitz down the middle. Yes, book it down for the final point of the set as Kleitz sends it down with a little bit of velocity there with a spike and off an outstretched hands of KCK. 25-20, set 2 is won by Highland as the Scotties take the second set this evening over KCK. So 2 sets played, 2 sets won by the Scotties on the road in this Jayhawk Conference showdown. 25-18, and set 2 goes 25-20 for Highland. You're watching the action and listening on the Scotty Sports Network, live from Kansas City, Kansas tonight for Highland taking on KCK in Jayhawk Conference action here this evening for the Jayhawk Conference volleyball action here tonight. Ready for set 3 here on the road for the Scotties of Highland Community College. Mike Smith alongside with you here on the Scotty Sports Network tonight. Don't forget you can watch all these broadcasts back on the Scotty Sports Network YouTube channel as they are archived. We do have the contest live, but also if you just want to watch it back and watch all the success that the Highland Community College sports and athletics have, well, you can do so there. We got second set statistics real quick for you. Leslie Polanco leading the way with 6 kills, 2 kills for Koya Roscoe, a kill apiece for Zelia Kleitz and Emma Kohala. 8 set assists for Katie Pearson. Leslie Polanco with a set assist, and Emma Kohala also with 1, and an ace for Koya Roscoe in the the second set. 5 digs for Johnson, 7 digs for Sydney Prime. That led the way in that second set. Also, a couple of blocks for Katie Pearson, a couple of block assists in the second set for the Scotties. Highland goes right to left across your screen. Again in the gold tops tonight with the navy numerals and letters. Taking on Kansas City, Kansas Community College, the Blue Devils. facing off against Highland here this evening. Oh, Polanco bumps that up after colliding with Orozco. Then they keep it alive, the Scotties do, and no answer by KCK. Another quick start to the third set this time around. Highland started off well in sets 1 and 2, and they start off well here in set number 3. A few other subs coming in for KCK, a gal that I was able to see play high school ball, Lauren Lewandowski, Holton product, playing against a former one of her teammates in Sydney Prine. Prine gets blocked by Lewandowski and another teammate for KCK, and the Blue Devils get that to go. So 2 Holton gals playing tonight against each other, former teammates in high school. But Lewandowski playing at KCK, and ultimately Sydney Prine, of course, with our Scotties. Just trickles over the net. Sydney ducked out of the way. I don't know if she thought it wasn't going to make it or someone else would be behind her to pick that up, but there's an ace by Katie Heater. And KCK owns their first lead of set 3, up 2-1, just young into this third set. Johnson goes to her knees, picks it up. Here's a set by Pearson. Blocked on Kleitz's shot in the middle. And a double stuff. Winter up there along with Johnson. On a 1-0 start to this set. Leads to now a 3-0 run for KCK. And a 3-1 lead for the Blue Devils as well. Scotty's looking for the straight set sweep tonight. And an early night at that in doing so. Prine will bump it over the top of her head. Back to the Blue Devils side as Winter, though, goes up and lays the hammer down. And KCK starting to get their crowd a little bit into this one with a little 4-0 run to open up this third set. Highland, of course, dispatching the Blue Devils in straight or the first 2 sets, 25-18 and 25-20. Johnson in the back row. There's Prine skying high with it. Little back pedal there to go after it. Wow, man. Just dots the eye on a great play up in the middle. And Highland's going to need an early timeout. Scotty's on their heels here to start off set 3, but they've been in this type of situation on their heels multiple times, and including not too long ago against Cloud County at that McCook tournament. They battled back to win an exceptional 5-set contest. Coach John Bingesser calls a timeout. Wants to corral the troops pretty early, though, here in this third set. Now, Highland established a nice lead early on in set 1, utilized that 5-point cushion that they established early to control set 1, basically. Set 2 was a little bit different between the two teams, as Highland had an early lead. KCK battled back, actually took a 2-tally lead at one point midway through the set. Highland flipped it back in their favor at 16-14 and didn't look back from that point on. Little janitorial work by Coy Orozco. Not only can she do multiple things on the court, but adds another thing to her repertoire. Is a little cleanup over there on that far sideline. But Orozco, Johnson, Polanco on the back, and Kleitz, Prine, and Pearson up front for the Scotties, right to left across your screen. Thanks for tuning in to Scotty Sports Network. Mike Smith alongside with you for tonight's action and Jayhawk Conference play on the road for this evening. Blue Devils set to put this in motion off the serve. Heater will have a little jump to her step. Goes down the chute. Johnson picks it up. Pearson sets it up for Kleitz. Yeah, that one is just obliterated by Kleitz. Wait. Wow, a violation at the net. Well, I got excited for the spike, but unfortunately it won't go the way of Highland. The violation up at the net spoils out of the timeout a great play. And Highland will have to try to get one here. Here's a set again for Kleitz. It goes off the fingertips up front. KCK with an answer. Sets up Winter over the far side. Coy on the far side picks it up for the Scotties. And quickly blocked on Kleitz's opportunity. And KCK has been ultra active at the net more as of late in that second set. And now here to start off this one. Prine tries to send it over and rainbow it in, but that sails long, and the little run for KCK continues. 7-1. Highland trailing by 6. They've not faced a bigger deficit at all here tonight. I mean, this is the largest lead for KCK at any juncture. The previous largest lead was 2. Now it's midway through set 2. Line shows conversing over there with the scorers table for the moment, being in. Highland doesn't, is what they would say, make a mountain out of a molehill. It's not an insurmountable situation right now. It's early on in set 3, but you don't want to create more of a hill to climb back into get back into this set. Back set by Pearson, sent it over. Now it's back by the Blue Devils quickly onto Scotty's side. There's another whistle again, and violation once more by Pearson up front. And Highland, unfortunately, unforced errors hurting the Scotties here in set 3. And they duck out of the way. There's an unforced error, as a service error that is, by KCK. That happened, close to about a handful of times in the other 2 sets combined, or in that vicinity. Service errors by KCK. Highland was then able to actually kind of push things in their favor with those situations unfolding, taking advantage of those situations. Sidney Prine in, set to serve it, kind of goes down the middle off to the far side of the end line. Winter goes up with it. Johnson goes after it, and Coach John Bingesser a little frustrated in that scenario. I don't know, that may have sailed out of bounds if Johnson would have ducked out of the way, but it was coming at her at a high pace, and now a 9-2 lead for the Blue Devils. Spins that up into the air and off the serve. Pearson will bump it to the near side. Polanco's punch that time right there, putting a crevice into the hardwood as Leslie Polanco has the Polanco punch, as I call it. Nice job by Leslie. That is exactly, Highland needs to play like that to spearhead the momentum swing back in their favor. Little set towards the top of the net. Pearson gets it in the middle, but then right in between a triangle of Scotties. No communication there of who would pursue it after the Pearson hit. And just right after that, great Polanco kill, Blue Devils get it back on the serve, and the lead goes back to 7. A 10-3 KCK lead here in set 3. Pearson bumps it over the top of her head. Orozco off the fingertips up front of Schwartz. Here's set up for Winter. Winter tightrope walks the net and just get a generous spin. Does the Blue Devils there. Talk about a break in that situation. I mean, it kind of tightrope walks the top of the net, does the ball, and takes a Blue Devil spin on their home court. Nobody home after where it was. There's a let serve, though. That's twice that's happened in this third set for Highland to get 2 tallies of their 4. 11-4 lead. Scotties need a run, a good chunk run of about at least 5 or so. Don't have to get it all back here, and this might almost was an ace, but good backup there. And there's no answer that time. Great play as Highland almost dialed it up, with the ace. Actually, we'll get that one because no answer. Katie Pearson set to serve this. And Pearson with a lot of great performances this season. 13 matches with 20 or more assists for Pearson as she sets it up for Polanco. In pursuit, backpedaling. Pearson gets that after the block on Polanco's spike momentarily ago. And in pursuit, Prine dives to the floor but falls short again. Trying to back up that time, and Coach John Bingesser giving a vote of confidence to Sidney there. Just barely missing out to keep that volley up. Highland down by 7. A 12-5 score. Dug out there by Polanco, but the dig goes out of bounds on the far sideline. Pearson had to go backwards. Momentum carrying her one way. She was headed towards the net, but then had to kind of flop backwards to try to get that second hit, and unable to accomplish that feat. Here's Winter's spike, goes down the middle. Johnson will bump it, and nobody home after that. Miscommunication happening by the Scotties at a little bit more high frequency than one would want here in this third set. And now a 14-5 lead for KCK in set 3 after Highland has taken the first 2 sets. Kleitz is back in. Zelia picked that up on the back row. Polanco and pinballs it through the block. Opportunity there. Schwartz, though, stayed with it and kept it alive for KCK. There's Schwartz, little tap, and that's home again for the Blue Devils. Man, KCK has everything going their way right now, and Scotty's looking a little out of sorts here in this third set. Falling down by 10. As Kleitz close to lift, but got it up there that time. Quickly tapped, and wow, man, threads the needle on that far sideline again. All KCK here in this third set, and it continues to be that way. Highland hit early, down by 5-1 margin when they called the timeout, and haven't been able to corral the troops and regather themselves. There's another let serve, hits the top of the net, doesn't make it over. Half of the Scotties points in this third set have actually been from let serves from the Blue Devils. See if they can maybe get a little bit of mojo in their favor here. But wow, another big spike from Katie Heater. Sends the heater back in the face of Highland. 17-6, all KCK at this juncture. And Sleef will serve it. Kleitz will bump it. Polanco towards the end line. Prine will send it over. Down the alley that time. KCK again goes to Heater on the far side. Blocked, but out of play off Kohala and Coy Orozco's hands. And KCK continues to just control this third set. Based on how the first two sets went, you'd be surprised at how this one's unfolded at this juncture. You'd think it'd be at least a little bit tighter, but Scotty's unfortunately having a few too many miscues pile up for themselves here. And Orozco sends it long. They want the touch, but Highland won't get that. Not the beneficiary of that call this time. Scotties haven't had much go their way, unfortunately, here in set 3. 19-6. Highland hasn't had a set really played this one-sided against them all year. Close to a lift there that time as the Scotty bench wanted the call but didn't get it, and KCK then gets it in their favor. All right. Blue Devils up to 20 already and lead it by 14, 20-6. Highland trailing here in this third set after taking the first two sets by a 25-18, 25-20 score. Blocked by the net and KCK themselves too. And again, Highland might just have to put this one in the rearview mirror and worry about set 4 being down by a sizable margin. Not going to say it's over quite yet, but Blue Devils holding down the fort here in this third set. Kohala gets it off the fingertips of the would-be blockers up front. Emma tries for the block, but it goes back. Polanco gets it. Pearson's bumped to the near side for Prine, and Sydney spikes it right into the heart of the net. Highland had the volley going there and set up an opportunity, but Sydney Prine unfortunately coming up empty for the Scotties in that situation. 22-6 KCK. Johnson backpedaling. Here's Pearson's short set for Kohala, and Kohala got it there on the end line, on the outside sideline that time, just on the line, as Emma Kohala finally sees something go Highland's way, which something that hasn't happened much here in this third set. Scotties need a monumentous run at this point to get back in this set. Not not unattainable, but a lot of work to do. Orozco, though, sends one up, and it goes sky high to the rafters. Winter attacks it and sends it long here on the near side, out of play. Back-to-back points. It starts with that. Highland maybe in business here, but still trail 22-8 on the scoreboard. Emma Kohala set to serve. A couple of aces for her this year, over 113 kills. But Emma tried to go across court on the serve and gets the service error. Errors, going to be costly, especially at this juncture. Kelsey Rankin into a serve, actually just transitions to serve for the Blue Devils. To the back row, Polanco will bump it towards the net. Pearson sets it up for Kleitz. Zelia, and that goes out of play too. Kleitz wanting a touch, but not going to get it. And with that point, well, KCK looming towards the third set victory. Actually, they do get it. Scotty's got it in their favor. I didn't think it got in, but they do rule it in. So Highland catches a break there that time, but not that time. Big spike by the gal up front. That was Kelsey Rankin. So this is set point for KCK. Highland going to have a lot of work to stave off set point multiple times to get back in this set, but like I said, might just want to put this one in the rearview mirror and focus moving forward. Pearson set it up down the middle, and that one right through the block right there. It splits the defense. Good job by Zelia Kleitz. Highland not going away. They get to double figures. Prine goes back to serve. Good serve on the far sideline. Set up down the middle. Lewandowski, too long. Lauren Lewandowski sending it out of play. Holton native. Former teammate of Sidney Prine in high school. Prine will continue to serve for the Highland, and that one, well, just out of play. Almost there for the inline, but Prine's serve is a service error and also the 25th point of this second set, which is controlled and dominated by the Blue Devils of KCK. A 25-11 win for KCK in set number 3. So we'll need a set 4, as we did last year between the two teams, to decide this one. Highland still leads it, though, 2-1 in the contest. We'll be back on the Scotty Sports Network in just a few moments. Well, we go to set 4, as set 3 was controlled by the home team, KCK, as they take it from the onset and didn't look back from that point on. Highland, unfortunately, having too many miscues and, well, just too much miscommunication, leading to opportunities for KCK to take advantage of, and that they did. 25-11, set 3 goes in favor of the Blue Devils. Quick look at some of the statistics from set 3. Zelia Kleitz with 2 kills. Sidney Prine, Emma Kohala, and Leslie Polanco each with a kill apiece. Only 4 set assists for Katie Pearson in that first one, or in that set there. Flip it over to the defensive side with the digs. 5 for Leslie Polanco. Orozco with 3. Pearson and Kleitz also with a dig in that third set. But the Scotties started off the night pretty solidly. Won the first set 25-18. Took set 2 25-20, but lost set 3 25-11. And you're going to put that in the rearview mirror and try to win this in 4 as they lead 2-1. Here's the first volley of this fourth set. Zelia Kleitz taps it over. Lewandowski goes after it, gets it. They'll just shove it over that time by Rankin. Here's Kleitz again. That's spiked, but not touched and out of play. And KCK, like they did, actually they didn't actually lead the first. It was Highland leading 1-0 in set 3. KCK led from that point on. Actually, they went on a 5-0 run after Highland got the initial point, but KCK gets the initial point of set 4. Here's Prine going down the power alley, picked up by the Blue Devils. Back set, Lewandowski partially blocked. Kleitz did a great job. Went over to the Blue Devils side, dug out of the net by Pearson. Nice spike by Kleitz on the near sideline. Blue Devils keep the volley going. Orozco, Pearson, Kleitz down the middle, shoves it to the back row. Winters to her knees to pick that up. Partially blocked and out of play. Pearson and Kleitz go after it. Great volley back and forth. Neither coach would have to really hang their head on how that one unfolded. 2-0 start for KCK to this fourth set. Highland left to right across your screen here in set 4. Kleitz tries to rainbow it in that back corner pocket. Well, not quite there. And that's a 3-0 start for the Blue Devils. Hannah Williams will see her first action tonight. The Netawaka, Kansas native, former Jackson Heights Cobra, has started to play a little bit more. Started really in the HCC tournament. Got on the court and started to work her way into opportunities. Polanco back row attack, good spike there, but KCK has an answer. They punch it over on the second hand. Pearson sets it up for Williams. Nice spike right into the chest pocket of the libero there for Sleef, but no answer. That time, Winter bumps it quickly back up, and the volley continues. Pearson's short set finds Williams. Blocked that time. KCK has, well, protected their house at the net with a lot of blocks in set 3, and here in set 4, starting to be the same a little bit. Highland doesn't want to fall behind early on by a sizable margin like they did in set number 3. Hannah Williams back out and Zelia Kleitz back in up front. Rankin will serve. And she goes to the near sideline. That'll go as an ace, though, as Orozco bumps it out of play. And it's a 5-0 start for KCK to set 4. Scotty's still looking a little out of sorts here in this 4th set. Rankin down the middle of the defense. Johnson will bump it right back towards the net, and KCK goes after it, and, well, they strike pretty quickly. Nice play at the net by Randy Johnson. She was able to win that at the point of attack. Johnson's bump went right at the top of the net. Johnson noticed it and pursued it pretty quickly. And it's a 6-0 start. Make it 7-0 as Orozco's bump goes out again. And that is 2 aces during this 7-0 run to open up set 4. Highland's not careful. It's going to be a pretty big lead that they'll have to try to claw back from here in this 4th set. Highland won the first 2 sets, but running out of a little gas right now at this point. Pearson doesn't get that one at the point of attack. And again, KCK seeing every ball land in their favor at this point. 8-0 start to this 4th set. All Blue Devils here in the 4th set. Rankin will serve it again. Highland ready to get that with Johnson. Pearson will set it up for Kleitz down the middle. Zelia gets blocked again. Man, right there, almost like they know what Highland's going to draw up almost, it seems. 9-0 start to this 4th set. Rankin will serve and go to the back row. Prine picks it up. Pearson's set goes sky high. Polanco with the back row attack. It's picked up by KCK on the back row themselves. Winter will bump it. Lobbed all the way back to Polanco on the back row. Pearson short set for Kleitz. Down in the alley that time. Rankin picks it up here to the near side and a bump into the net. Highland will take it, get their first point on the board, but a 9-0 start to this 4th set has KCK in the driver's seat. Here in set 4 after they won set 3. Highland though leading 2-1. Scotty's trying to battle back. Great bump there by Prine. Quickly back on their side, and in the corner it goes as Katie Heater gets KCK to double digits. A 10-1 lead. Highland, this is the juncture right now that a big run is needed for the Scotties, because you don't want to be, needing that big run in the latter part of the set and, fighting and staving off, set point or looming step point at that juncture. We're not quite there yet. And nice play there. The Raptors help out the Scotties as it was bumped into the top of the lights here at KCK. And Scotties will get that on their board. Only 2, though. Zelia Kleitz back to serve. Prine, Orozco, Kahala just checked in. And there's an ace. Zelia, nice play that time. Kleitz with the ace. That's her 7th of the season. Back-to-back points for the Scotties. Needing that shot in the arm. A little rejuvenation to the Scotties here so far. We'll see if they can continue to do so after that ace just a moment ago. Winter goes down the alley and gets it to go. Kleitz tried to dig it out off the floor but couldn't do so. And now 11-3. Brandy Johnson will serve it. She'll go back. Lee Summit, Missouri product for KCK. Up 11-3, Blue Devils are. Johnson, a lob serve that goes out of play. Good communication there from the Scotties. All in unison, knowing that that serve would be a service error and sail too long. Pearson will serve. Katie goes back behind the end line, set to put this one in motion for the Scotties, looking for a nice run. Lofty serve to the back row, pushed up towards the net, back, nice set there to Lewandowski, who gets the smash home. Lewandowski down the power alley. And after the kill, she comes out and has a different gal come in for her to serve. Thornton. But KCK, they had opportunities to push the lead out, and that they continue to do so here throughout the night. Polanco book it down for the kill. Leslie Polanco takes it home for point number 5, but Highland still with a opportunity to continue to try to claw back in this showdown, as Leslie Polanco will serve it up. Now down by 8, Highland is. You're in set 4. Line judges conversing for the moment about something. Highland assistant coach Mallory Flagger was conversing about something, not sure what it was about, but here to the near side, Winter will tap it over. Polanco on the back row. Pearson set. Here goes to the near side. Orozco gets blocked. Here Pearson going to set up for Orozco again in the near side, and that is smashed by Coy. Back-to-back tallies for Highland. And Highland needs that, needs the momentum to continue in their favor. Polanco gets the running start, set to serve it up, as Leslie Polanco and Highland operate left to right across your screen on the Scotty Sports Network. Live from Kansas City, Kansas Community College tonight, on the road for their Jayhawk Conference Showdown in volleyball, as Highland trailing KCK in this 4th set 12-6, but leading 2 sets to 1 overall on the night. As Leslie Polanco will continue to serve and go straight down the middle off this one. Not necessarily the missile type serve she usually does. A little bit more air underneath that one. Partially spiked, and that's going to go off Pearson, and that is spiked and hits the top of the net. Pearson kind of had to backpedal, got it, but off of her shoulder, and it went out of play. So KCK swings it to their side again. 13-6 lead right now. And pushed over by Winter off the serve. Pearson short set for Polanco, and a whiff hit there by Polanco. Emma mishits that, and well, Highland had a little mojo for a moment, but that was quickly taken away. And Winter will continue to serve it. Punched up here. Pearson will set it to Orozco. Orozco's blocked, tapped over by Kohala, and 2 gals go after it, and then, wow, KCK just kind of got a little generous break for the moment. Back towards the net. They'll have to send it over from the back row. The Blue Devils do so. Johnson to Pearson. Now here to the near side. Orozco! Yes, Coy Orozco going to Spikeville with the shot down there. And Coy Orozco spikes it down. They trail by 7, though, right now, as Coy Orozco makes it a 14-7 game. Trailing is Highland. Double stuff, though, up front. Orozco and Zelia Kleitz getting in on the block. And an 8 tally on the board now for Highland. They have the serve. Kohala from the far side in line. They'll serve it up. Emma puts this in motion. Picked up by the libero on the back row. There's a back set to the far side. Partially blocked, but gets through. And 15-8. Highland trailing. Down by 7. The libero serving it up. Sleeve will serve it up here for KCK. Johnson. Now Pearson sets down the middle for Kleitz, partially blocked, and that block will go back in Highland's face. Right down the middle, those attacks haven't paid out for Highland here tonight with much regularity, as they've been stuffed, especially in the 3rd and 4th sets. Highland has here tonight on the double blocks by KCK. 16-8 lead, KCK on top. Spike from Orozco to from the near side. Coy blocks that partially. Pearson swoops in. Now they'll set it up for Roscoe to just tump it over. KCK to the near side again. They'll go to the back row down the alley. Johnson, Pearson with the set over for Prine. Prine's blocked and it will go out of bounds. Nice job by Highland though. A great job, Sydney Prine. Highland one away from double digits on the board here in this fourth set, but still have to fight back, trailing after a 9-0 run by the Blue Devils to open up this second set. There's the serve coming from Coy Roscoe. And dug out by Polanco, but bounced into the stands. And Highland just can't catch a break as far as, a pretty significant run like they need. Scotty's coming up a bit short in accomplishing that feat here in this fourth set at the moment. 17-9, serve coming on the side of KCK. They go right to left across your screen. Johnson bumps it up towards the net, and Pearson wins that attack, but KCK keeps the volley alive. They'll just push it over. Bumped up by Zelia Kleitz. Now back off the set. Kleitz is blocked. Roscoe gets it, but it will go out of play off Coy. And again, the block straight down the middle has been there. Highland, I don't know if much at all, have gotten a point on a spike going down the middle here tonight. Spike, of course, that Zelia Kleitz has been set up with most of the time in the middle, but not able to get much going for Highland so far in that capacity. And that gets away from Polanco and down the hardwood once more. KCK holding on to the lead by a sizable margin. They're up by 10 at 19-9. Serve comes in by Rankin, and Rankin will serve it up and push it in. Pearson, now Prine with the spike, and there it is. There's Sydney Prine getting to double digits for Highland. Highland ultimately still hanging tough at this point. Sydney Prine will serve. Johnson on the back row with her. Orozco too. Let's serve by Prine. Gets KCK up to 20 on the board. It's a 10-point contest again here in set 4. Heater will serve it. Katie from the near side of the inline for the Blue Devils, right to left across your screen. Highland looking for something to hang their hat on if they might, they can't come back from this set. There's Polanco, though, with a great job. It actually hits before the inline off of a fingertip of the Blue Devils, too. And Highland not out of it yet, but still a margin to climb here in this fourth set. Now, if they don't take the set, there's a let serve again. Back-to-back let serves when Highland's had the serve. That one from Zelia Kleitz. And 21-11. KCK leading by 10 again. If Highland can't come back from this deficit and win this set, they at least want to have some momentum headed into that fifth and final set if that's going to be needed. Here's Polanco with a nice shot over on the far sideline. On the back row, they'll bump it. To the near side, Winter. Johnson on the back, bumps it. Pearson with the bump for Polanco on the far side. Leslie to the back row again, goes up to the rafters. Winter again to the near side now, and that goes out of play. Johnson moves out of the way. Nice little bend and matrix move. 21-12. Highland down by 9. Trying to claw back into this with Pearson serving. Johnson, Prine, Polanco, Orozco, and Kohala on the floor. Pearson's serve makes it over the top of the net. And they go down with the back row attack. Prine picks it up on the far side. Pearson to the near side. Orozco, and Orozco off Lewandowski's hands, and then diving to the floor too was Rankin. And Highland's got a couple points consecutively. Scotties need a few more, at least to call back into this one. 4 points away from the set is KCK, but Highland with 13 looking to have a stretch run in them right now. Set up on a back set. Lewandowski's blocked. The net helps out too. Kohala and Polanco with the looming presence. And Highland putting together a 3-0 run. They're drawn within 7. Pearson continues to serve. Katie going to put it in motion for the Scotties. Left to right across your screen on the Scotty Sports Network here tonight on the road. Set to the near side for Winter again, and that one will fall. Blocked by Kohala and Orozco, but it falls in front of their face after the block. And 22-14. So Highland managed a little miniature run but needed a few more really to get within a good distance of reaching it. Quickly tapped back over. Polanco dives to the floor to get that dig. Here's Orozco's attack, and Coy, nice job to strike on that far sideline. Dots the eye, and Highland still holding tough here in this fourth set. But Scotty's not going to go away quietly, that's for sure. Here comes Zelia Kleitz into the contest, and also Ashley Stevenson coming in. Stevenson's only played in just 2 matches. The Raytown, Missouri native, coming in, though, on the back row for Stevenson. Polanco's serve, a little bit of a line drive one towards the back row. Winter, Polanco keeps that alive. Here's Pearson's bump to Orozco on the near side. KCK, quick set towards the middle. That is a nice stuff. They send KCK backpedaling, but Blue Devils keep the volley. Polanco bumps it. Pearson's short set, that time tapped over by Orozco. Tried the little finesse play, but Blue Devils with an answer. Blocked by Orozco on the Winter spike. Here's Winter again. Taps it to the back row. Polanco waiting it. Pearson set, cross court for Prine. To the back. The Blue Devils have an answer. Heater with the spike, and that one hits Stevenson, who dives to the floor. And there's a spike that time by Heater. 23-15. KCK leading this fourth set. Brittany Winter puts the serve for KCK. Stevenson bumps it. Polanco with the set over to Prine on the far side. Sydney is blocked, and it shoots out of play. And Highland's still holding tough, but the Scotties continue to face a sizable deficit. Zelia Kleitz back in. Takes the spot of Stevenson on the floor. Emma Kohala will serve. Highland was down 9-0 in this fourth set. And, well, they trail 23-16 at this point. Heater flicks it off the would-be fingertips. There's Pearson. KCK has been flying all over the floor to keep this volley alive several different times. Orozco's partially blocked. Prime with a quick push up into the air. Pearson with a set finds Orozco on the near sideline, as KCK will have to send that over the outstretched hands of Schwartz. Pearson now to Orozco, who is blocked again. Right in the middle. The blocks have been there, and well, Highland hasn't had much going in the middle tonight here in the last couple of sets especially. And the set point looming right now for KCK. And Kelly Sleef going to serve it up. Highland's going to have to fend off set point multiple times to try to get back into this one. Polanco sends it to the back row up towards the rafters. They'll have to bump it over here. Heater punches it off for Palm. Pearson's short set for Kleitz. Lob to the back corner, backpedaling. KCK keeps it alive. They'll bump it over somehow on the third hit. Pearson sets it up for Orozco now, and Orozco tattoos the libero in the face, but somehow he keeps it alive. Orozco with the tap home there that time. Tightrope walks the near sideline, and that will go. Coy Orozco put one in the face of the libero for KCK, but Kaylee Sleef somehow kept that alive despite wearing it in her, big in their face. There's a third hit or fourth hit situation, and well, that will do it for the fourth set. Unfortunately, the error on Highland leads it to a fourth set victory for KCK, 25-17. Really, it all started with a 9-0 run by the Blue Devils for the fourth set that led them and guided them to the fourth set victory. So Highland started off the night strong with both first set victories, but now it's going to a fifth and decisive set as KCK takes set 4, 25-17, and we'll go to a fifth and decisive set in just a few moments. Thanks for tuning in here on the Scotty Sports Network. Well, we're ready to roll for our 5th and decisive set. It looked like the Scotties might make it a short night, and after taking the first 2 sets, 25-18, 25-20, the home team KCK, well, made it to go to 5 as they won the 3rd and 4th sets, 25-11, 25-17. Blue Devils took those, and that has forced the 5th and decisive set here. Quick look at the set 4 statistics. Coy Orozco with 5 kills, 3 for Leslie Polanco and Sydney Prine, 10 set assists for Katie Pearson in that 4th set. Also 10 digs for Leslie Polanco, 3 apiece for Zelia Kleitz and Kirsten Johnson in that 4th set. But it did go in favor of the home team, the Blue Devils of KCK. Highland will go left to right across your screen here on the Scotty Sports Network in this 5th and decisive set. Coy Orozco, Leslie Polanco, Kirsten Johnson, Sydney Prine, Zelia Kleitz, and Katie Pearson. Your 6 gals on the floor for the Scotties here in the 5th set. KCK will go right to left across your screen. Highland will have the serve to start this one off in the 5th set, and Coy Orozco will serve it. Get this one ready to go. Coy Orozco set to serve and gets it down the chute that time. Picked up here, and they'll punch it over to the back, and that's out of play. Highland strikes first here in this 5th set. Now, Highland had the first points of sets 1, 2, and 3. Of course, winning sets 1 and 2. But set 3, not so much. Scotties, though, will hope that this one pays dividends here. Miss it up front, and Katie Heater not going to go there. Good action from the bench, too. They're all in it for the Scotties, and the Scotty faithful that have made the trip here to Kansas City, too, have been pumped. 2-0 start for the Scotties here in set 5. They need some mojo early on. There's an ace by Orozco. Thank you very much. Dishing out the aces that time like she's Gambit. As right there is Coy Orozco with a 3-0 start for Highland to set 5. Orozco serves it on a line drive serve that just trickles over the net. Back set to the far side. Down the power alley, Polanco picks it up. Set by Pearson. Here's Prine. Prine down the alley herself on that spike. Here to the near side, it's Heater. Orozco with great backup on the block. There's Kleitz. Kleitz tattoos it right there with a great kill by Zelia Kleitz. Brittany Winter wears it on her shoulders, and a 4-0 start for Highland here to set 5. The Scotties maybe found their mojo back here in set 5 as they've hit KCK right in the mouth to start off set 5 here in this one. We got a timeout by the Blue Devils to try to corral the troops. Of course, you played a 15 in the 5th and decisive set here in this showdown. Highland has played 3 5-set contests and are 2-1 in said contests. If you look at KCK, out of their only 6 games played so far this year, they have ultimately played 2 5-set matches themselves, and they split those. Those are the very first 2 matches of the season for the Blue Devils. For Highland, of course, they played a tough 5-set matchup that they lost to Indian Hills, but won in 5 sets in their tournament against MCC Longview, won a tough 5-setter against Cloud County as well. So in 5-set matchups, as I said, 2-1, but they won their last 2 5-setters, has the Scotties here this year. Last year, this matchup between the two went 4 sets, punched over by Pearson along the near side. And they attack it down the middle, spiked into the net. Highlands up 5-0. Good looming presence by Zelia Kleitz at the net. Didn't block it per se because the spike went directly into the net, but that looming presence, definitely helps out when those situations unfold. Pushed over to the near side. Here's Heater down the power alley. Johnson bumps it up towards the net. Pearson set. Here's Kleitz. Kleitz now. Ooh, good dig there that time by Winter. Just right down low. Kind of in her hip pocket. She had to pick that up. Prime with a good spike. A little off balance that for a moment. Bumped over the back of her head by Sleeth. Kleitz with another spike, and that flicks off the fingertips of the would-be blocker, Randy Johnson. And it's all Highland here in set 5. Scotties 6-0 right now here in this 5th set. And guess what? The Blue Devils need another timeout. Scotties cooking here in set 5 here as they have put KCK on their heels at the moment. I'm sure you probably hear the KCK faithful. I'm assuming it's the Blue Devil baseball team sitting next to me as I'm here at KCK on the campus of Kansas City Community College. The Blue Devils hosting Highland tonight for Jayhawk Conference action. And the Scotties looking to get out of here with a victory. They thought it might be a bit easier than, well, it's turned out to be. The Scotties took set one 25-18 and 25-20. Took set two. And we're up 2-0, but give credit to the home team, the Blue Devils. They pounced on an early lead in set three, didn't look back, won set three 25-11. And they got off to a 9-0 blistering start in set four. And KCK took set four 25-17. Highland tried to fight back, but just a little bit too much of a deficit to come back there. And Scotty's hoping that this deficit for KCK is too much to come back from as well. They're up 6-0. Koya Roscoe continues to serve. She started this set with the serve, and Highlands has not given up a point yet, but they do so here. As that caroms out of the block, and that pinballs through two would-be blockers of Highland, and KCK out of their second timeout of the fifth set gets their first tally. A 6-1 Highland lead, however, as Rankin serves it up. She'll go down the middle on this serve, right to left across your screen in the Scotty Sports Network. 5-point lead, though, for the Scotties here in the fifth and decisive set. Picked up and shot to the back row. Orozco, Pearson with the set, finds a nice Kleitz spike, but Zelia sends it too long and into KCK's bench. Back-to-back Blue Devil tallies. Highland doesn't want a run to be put together by KCK here in this showdown. Want to stymie it at 2. Johnson's bump. Here to Pearson down the middle. Polanco on the back row attack, lobs it to the back row. Winter bumps it. Here now they go with the middle attack again. Nice job by Polanco on the back row, awaiting that spike. Here's Sydney Prine. She's partially blocked and off Johnson's hands, out of play. So a 6-0 start to the fifth set has now saw KCK out of their second timeout go on a 3-0 run of their own. 6-3. Highland still in the driver's seat, however, of the lead. Serve goes straight down the pipe. Pearson's set here to the near side. And Kleitz, well, she mishits that into the net. KCK is on a 4-0 run. 6-4 lead. Highland on top by 2. Rankin will serve it again. And Rankin goes down the middle with Johnson awaiting the serve. Here's Pearson's set, goes over to the far side. Prine sends it way too long. And Highland's got to settle down. Scotty's got off to a 6-0 start to the set. Now only lead by 1. 6-5 here in the fifth set. A 5-0 Blue Devil run. Scotty's just got to settle down. Don't get too out of sorts. There's a let serve. There we go for the Scotties to swing it back in their favor. A 5-0 run stymied by the Blue Devils themselves. Now Highland can see if the Scotties can capitalize. Prine, Johnson, Orozco, Kleitz, Pearson, and Polanco on the floor for Highland here. Johnson picks it up. Pearson's set, goes over to the far side. Polanco punches it. Oh, nice save there by Sleeve. It's Heater. Johnson now gives it for Highland. Pearson's bump goes back to Leslie again, and Leslie smashes it to the floor. Polanco with a great hit there that time, and an 8-5 lead. Now we switch sides of the floor, as you do midway through the fifth and decisive set. So Highland will go right to left across your screen now for the latter part of this fifth set. Scotties have the serve. Prine at the helm. And the Scotties have a 3-tally lead as well. Highland looking to finish this one off, remain undefeated in Jayhawk Conference play. This is only their second conference game of the season. Scotties also in pursuit of their 12th win of the year. Great serve by Prine, straight down the chute, almost went to the floor for that one. Good dig by Prine, goes back off the bump, right back to KCK, however. They go down the middle, blocked up front, and backpedaling KCK was no answer. Blocked up front and stuffed right back in the face of the Blue Devils. And Highland now up by a 4-point margin again, 9-5. Scotties led 6-0 at this start of the fifth set. Little short set there. Lewandowski air mills that one out of play. 10-5. There's a substitution. Navarez coming in for KCK. Sydney Prine will serve. Prine looking to help guide the way for Highland to the win here in a 5-set affair. Partially blocked that time. Pearson and Kleitz do combine for the block to get it back to the Blue Devils side. Johnson awaits that spike on the back row. Here to the near side. Polanco just punches it. Diving for it. They touch it. It was out of bounds, but that was touched. As KCK says no, but it was touched by the Blue Devils. Touched by the Blue Devils. KCK in disagreement, but the diving outstretched hands here to the near side got a piece of that. And it's 11-5 Highland. Blue Devils coach still conversing and talking that situation over, but not happy about how that unfolded. Highland definitely happy. Scotty's now lead at 11-5 here in the 5th set. And Prine will serve this. Sidney gives it up and partially blocked there. That's the net. That should be 4 hits. It is. Yeah, 4 hits. It didn't go over to Highland's side. It hit the top of the net, spun back to the Blue Devils side, and momentum all in favor of Highland right now, up 12-5. Prine serves it again down the chute. Straight line drive serve quickly back. Yes! What a vicious smash by Kleitz. Zelia just lays the hammer down. Smashes it to smithereens. Zelia Kleitz does, and it's 13-5. Highland on top and a couple points away. That one's out of bounds on the near side, and now Scotty's on the precipice of the match victory. Big time stretch run here. Scotty's going to finish this off with consecutive tallies all around to cap this one perhaps here. They go to the far side. Punch Johnson picks it up on the back row. Pearson sets to the near side. Polanco punches it and gets it to go. Polanco with the 15th point of the set, and Highland takes it 15-5. Nice job by Highland as they went on a 9-0 run to end the 5th set. The 9-0 run by Highland Community College comes after a 5-0 run by KCK to get back within 1 in the 5th set. And Highland, after taking the first 2 sets, needed the 5th set to win it tonight, but they remain undefeated in Jayhawk Conference play, snagging their 2nd Jayhawk Conference win and 12th win of the season. A tough 5-setter on the road in Kansas City, Kansas tonight over the Blue Devils of Kansas City, Kansas Community College here on the Scotty Sports Network. As we'll get the stats from head coach John Bingesser and crew in just a moment to finish off the recap of tonight. But Highland looked good early on, got out to a 5-point cushion, 8-3 early on in set 1, and the Scotties saw the Blue Devils call a timeout at that point, and Highland would use that 5-point cushion to basically hold KCK at bay throughout the course of set 1. Highland then would finish off set 1 25-18. Several gals in the full force to help lead the way in that first set. Set 2, however, was a bit tighter than set 1 as Highland established an early lead, only to see KCK battle back and tie things up at 11. Then KCK took a 1-point lead at 13-12. Highland called a timeout. KCK out of the timeout, got a point, went up 14-12. Highland, though, matched that with a 4-0 run, took the lead at 16-14, and then went on to win the second set 25-20 and go up 2-0. Set 3, however, though, saw KCK go up 5-1 and ultimately lead to a Highland early timeout. Highland, though, fell behind by double digits and never was able to recover in set 3, falling 25-11 in that third set. Set 4 saw KCK go off to a blistering 9-0 start in that set, and that was proved to be too much of an insurmountable situation for Highland to overcome in that 9-0 early deficit in set 4 as KCK took set 4 25-17. Highland, however, in the 5th set picked up the momentum back in their favor and had a 4-0 start, led to a timeout, started then 6-0. KCK called another timeout, came back with a 5-0 run. They did. KCK make it 6-5, and then Highland finished off the set in impressive fashion. 9-0 run to cap the set and win set 5 15-5. Quick look at set 5 statistics. Leslie Polanco and Zelia Kleitz each with 3 kills apiece. Katie Pearson with 5 set assists in that fifth set. Also an ace by Koya Roscoe, and a couple of digs apiece for Koya Roscoe and Sydney Prine. 1 dig for Leslie Polanco in the fifth set, and 5 digs for Kirsten Johnson in that fifth set. So those are the fifth set statistics. And overall tonight, leading the way with 27 kills, which actually might be a new career high. It is a new career high for Leslie Polanco in kills with, that's digs, 27 digs, just shy of her capacity there in that one. But leading the way in kills, let's go to that category. Leslie Polanco had 16, so not a career high there, but 16 kills for Polanco, 10 for Orozco, and 10 for Kleitz, 5 for Prine, and 4 for Kohala. 39 set assists for Katie Pearson tonight. Aces, there was 4 of them for Highland tonight. Polanco with 1, Zelia Kleitz with 1, and Koya Orozco with 2 aces here tonight. 27 digs for Leslie Polanco. That's just too shy of her career high. She led the way in that capacity. 20 digs for Kirsten Johnson. That's a few shy of her career high as well. 8 digs for Katie Pearson tonight. 9 for Zelia Kleitz. 7 for Koya Roscoe. And 12 digs for Sydney Prine. Great game from her. That's a new career high for Sydney Prine in the dig capacity here tonight. But Leslie Polanco with a double-double this evening. Koya Roscoe near that double-double, but not quite in that capacity. And Katie Pearson had a great night as well. A couple of block assists. Zelia Kleitz with 4 blocks on the night as well for Highland to get the 5-set tough victory. Highland takes set 1, 25-18, set 2, 25-20, loses sets 3 and 4, 25-11, 25-17, but wins set 5, 15-5. And the Scotties remain undefeated in Jayhawk Conference play, 2-0, and are now 12-3 on this season. Thanks for watching and listening on the Scotty Sports Network for us tonight. You can watch it back on the Scotty Sports Network on the YouTube channel as Scotties win it in 5 sets over KCK on the road tonight in Jayhawk Conference play.